Our simple message is this: a broad set of immigration reforms is absolutely necessary to fix our broken immigration system in the long run. But in the meantime, we must ensure we do not needlessly deport the parents and spouses of U.S. citizens and others who are here working, raising families, and contributing to our nation and economic recovery. The DREAM Act received majority support in both the House and in the Senate last year, but still not the law of the land. And approximately 1 million young people, we heard from her, one of them, this morning, and we thank her, raised and educated in this country, face the fear of deportation every day. They, like every undocumented immigrant, are a busted taillight away from deportation. They are a right turn on red in a no right turn zone sign from being entered into a system and turned over to ICE for deportation, as we are seeking the expansion of programs like 287G and the so-called secure communities. So we're going to go out throughout the country and tell the stories, some of which we have heard here this morning. At each stop, we have 20 of them lined up so far, and there are more in the planning stages. At each stop, we will feature the stories of those whose lives are being turned upside down by deportation. We will hear from American citizen children, American citizen wives, husbands, grandparents about the precarious state of their family members and loved ones, and how it is they are disappearing every day from their lives. We are also making a direct plea to the President of the United States. He has a number of avenues available to him under existing law, which he can instruct the U.S. government to prioritize the deportation of criminals. He can prioritize the deportation of criminals and those who present a threat to our community, and give relief to those pursuing a new life in America. We want the President to do, in fact, what his administration claims it is doing when it talks about immigration enforcement. He must enforce the law. There is no doubt. But so far, he's only been looking at one aspect of the law when it comes to immigration. We read in the leaked memo, the Mayorkas memorandum, that he has a great amount of leeway and prosecutorial discretion in how deportation policy is meted out and how resources are targeted in the government. We are asking for balance and for consideration for immigrants with deep, long-term equities in this country, and for temporary relief until we are able to get legislation passed and implemented. So petitions to the President asking him to act now, at least to stop the deportation of millions of U.S. citizens, young people who should have been legalized via the DREAM Act, and stop the expansion of weakening public safety and serve as a dragnet for law-abiding immigrants, should be ended. It's not me speaking alone. Indeed, we call for action is coming from the Grassroots in Chicago, in Boston, North Carolina, Texas, and California, and across this country. We know that a process of legalization is what the American people want. With strong support in the African American, the Asian Pacific, across every demographic group, reject the fantasy that we will drive 12 million men, women, and children from our country and our economy. And it will not be me alone who travels to these events. Each will feature the testimonies of affected families, and each will give the opportunity for members of Congress, state and local officials, and wider community to participate and make their voices heard. Standing with me are members of Congress who have been key allies in working with me and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus on immigration, on the DREAM Act, and other related matters. And I want to give them an opportunity to express themselves on the tour. Before I do that, I want to make sure that there isn't a member of the press that doesn't leave here without a copy of the Mayorkas memorandum. I think it is very, very important that you get a copy of this memorandum. My staff has one. In this memorandum, it is laid out 7 different things that the President of the United States can do. We don't, and I want to reiterate, please, we have not come here to ask the President to sign an executive order somehow relieving these families from being deported. We have not come here to ask for temporary protective status. We understand he has the responsibility and obligation to enforce the law. But, as clearly stated in the Mallorca, he has, what we're asking him is to use the discretion that he has to implement the law and to have balance so that American citizen families can stay together.